What's up, boys and girls? So, quick little video, something I came up with. I'm helping a friend out, local friend, who bought a sawmill out of Connecticut. I don't know the exact make, which is good because I'd badmouth him if I did. No, it's a sawmill out of Connecticut where it's basically a homemade deal, kind of a slabber sawmill. It's got a big wide throat and 38 horsepower Vanguard on it. And my friend's having all kinds of troubles with it cutting straight. It just won't cut straight. So I went over and looked at the mill for the first time, and there's 1,000 different issues with it. It's just I almost don't even know what to say. The tracking, guides, band twisted, the 9,000 things. But one of the things that's on it is they have no way of measuring their band tension. And, you know, with ours, we just kind of tension it up to what they tell us to spin this spinny thing to. But there actually is, you know, some information on how much pounds per square inch there should be in tension on these bands. And from everything that I've read and watched cooks do and with wood miser stuff, everything that I've learned is it's somewhere, let's say, between 17,500 psi to 30,000 psi in tension on this band. And when you have a manual turning tensioning system, we don't really have a way to measure it. So they make tension guides that you can buy to put on the band, that you clamp on the band, have a dial indicator, you translate that over to a formula with the modulus of elasticity and so on and so forth, and you end up with a number, and it'll tell you how much psi it is. Well, to keep things simple, basically on a bandsaw band, it's somewhere around 5,000 psi for 1,000th of an inch, 0.001 of stretch at 5 inches wide. So most of the band tension gauges that you see are about 5 inches wide. For every 1,000th of an inch that your band stretches, it's about 5,000 psi. And I've seen numbers all over the place from 3 to 6, but let's just use 5 as a round number. So I wanted to come up with a system to check his band, because his is just a nut on a thing they got to crank down with a ratchet. And I knew that their band tension was too light. But we had no way of measuring it. So I came up with a system to check mine. So mine, on my Norwood HD 36V2, I kind of have my tension dialed in where I know I like it. And what I came up with was using a set of digital calipers. I can clamp this onto my band instead of buying a gauge, and tension up and see how much my band stretches, and start at 5 inches wide, zero myself, clamp my jaws down, and then tension up the band and see where I am, so that I could take this over to his place to check it on his, because he runs a similar band to mine. It's a few more inches long, but it's basically 0.42, 42 thousandths thick, and 1.25 inches wide, just like mine, to see where his tension was versus mine. And what we found out was what I expected to see, was that his tension was much, much less than mine. And my band stretches 4 thousandths of an inch, 4 thousandths of an inch, 0.004, when I tension it all the way up to 5.5 turns on my Norwood mill. And his was only stretching 2 thousandths of an inch. So if I convert mine over to that theoretical number of 5,000 psi, then my band is getting tension somewhere around 20,000 psi, depending on which end of the scale you're on. And that means that I'm over the 17 and I'm under the 30. So I think that's the safe spot where Norwood believes that this carriage will not deflect a ton and it tensions enough and to run nice and straight in hardwoods, which mine does, and in softwoods. And there's a little bit on the high side, so you can over tension it if you want to. So what I want to do is I want to show you that method. And I have a bunch of different digital calipers. I have Mitsutoyos. I have all kinds of different, ones. But I also have this set of 12-inch cheapo Harbor Freight ones that I've had for years, and these work. This particular set of digital calipers works fine. It works great. Measures great. I've measured gauge blocks. I've measured parallels. It repeats itself. And I'm going to show you that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp it on. And I'm going to tension the band. I'm going to show you how much it moves. I'm going to take it back to 0. I'm going to show you it goes back to 0. I'm going to tension it back up, show you where it goes, just to show you that as opposed to buying an expensive tension guide, you can use these and then use your plug the numbers into the formula if you want to get exactly where your band tension is, especially if you have a Woodland Mills or some of the other ones where you're just kind of cranking it down and hoping it's right, like mine. We're cranking it down and hoping it's right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this on. I know you guys can hear me, and I'll bring you in closer in a minute to show you. But basically, I'm opening up my digital calipers to basically 5 inches, and it's got a scale on it, so I can see where that is. I'm setting in the jaws in between the teeth, so that it's not sitting on the set of a tooth. And we're just gonna kind of get it clamped in place really quick on one side, just so it sits still. Right now I have no tension on the band. And we'll get it kind of clamped somewhere in the middle if I don't drop shit. And I think the moral of the story here is that God, what we're looking for is something that is repeatable, that we can plug into a formula to find out basically where we are. And I'll show you the setup in a second. You just kind of get it kind of parallel so that I'm not dealing with any parallax. If you don't know what parallax is, then you can look it up. That just means that if we don't measure in a straight line, there's error introduced. It's called parallax. So I'm clamping it down to the band fairly snugly. Now, I'm going to turn my gauge on, and I'm going to convert it back into imperial. You can do it in millimeters if you want. I'm going to zero it out. So right now I have no tension on the band. I'm at 0. And I'll take you over and show you that. Just especially so you can see that I just did this, so you know that I'm not fudging the numbers, and this will actually be a good test. So you can see that my Dial indicator is reading 0. Actually, it's reading 0.5 thousandth right now. So let's just take that. Let's zero it right out. Okay, so it's 0. I'm clamped kind of in the middle of the band on both sides. I think I'm fairly tight. And I'm going to put you back in the tripod here while I tension up to show you what I'm doing. And if all this goes right, and if my method works, then that thing's going to be reading 4 thousandths after I tension up. So the way that mine works is that basically I rotate until I start hitting that spring like I am right now. So I'm right at the beginning. And I'm going to go 5.5 turns. A 5 1/3 really is where I tension to. So half, 1, half, 2, half, 3, half, 4, half, 5, and that third right there. Now, before I take you over there, if this repeats, when we go over there, I'm going to be reading 4 thousandths. So let's hope that that's what it is. Let's take a look. You know, I'm reading 4 thousandths, 0.0004. So let's do it again. So my band, which is very similar to his, is stretching 4 thousandths. Now let's see, and we're going to do it one more time. So we're going to take the tension all the way off. I'll do it till it reads 0. Half 1, half 2, half 3, half 4, half 5 1/2. And that's right at the beginning of the spring. And I'm reading 0. I'll show you. So I can lift this thing in here without messing up my tripod. 0.0000, not even a half. This will read to half. This will read to 5 ten thousandths. And let's tension it up again. It's beginning right here. Half 1, half 2, 3, half 4, half 5, and then my third. And I'll show you again. Four thousandths, 0.004. So my band, when I'm tensioned perfect, stretches to 4 thousandths, stretches 4 thousandths of an inch. And I believe, just based on all the data that I've seen, that's around 20,000 psi, which means I can go more. And if you look, one of the things about that the old Norwards used to tell you to do, so if you see this yellow spring in here and this recess, make sure it's focusing. The old way of tensioning was just tension until that yellow spring is flush with the front of this right here, the opening. That's how it was calibrated. And I believe if I took that over to that I would be up more in that, closer to that 30,000 PSI number. But Norwood says right on their mills, I wonder if I can see it. There's a tag on here that says don't go more than 5 turns. I can't see it right now. There was somewhere on this mill, there's a thing that says 5 turns max, and I just go 5 1/3. I take the tension all the way off it again, just to show you that it zeroes back out, to show you that this method does have repeatability. All right, so there's the beginning. So I'll show you the gauge again. 000. So this method does work. And if you are sitting there thinking that, well, I'm a Neanderthal because I'm just going by thousands on my band, you can actually plug the numbers into the formula of modulus of elasticity, my 42 thousandths thick, inch and a quarter wide, my band length, which I don't think that matters because we're doing it at 5 inches, so you can use the 5 inches as the variable there. You can punch it all in yourself, and I would ask some of you that watch, go ahead and punch all the numbers in and see where I come up versus the 20,000 psi. But anyway, moral of the story is that his is light. I'm going to punch it up to, let's see how much it takes to get me to, he was at 2.5 thousandths of stretch. I want to see how much I have to turn this to get to that. So let's see where, all right, his beginning right here. So it's half, 1, half, 2, half, 3. I'm at 2 thousandths right now. So 3 1/3. 3 1/3 turns on that. Now, Norwood suggests 5. I'm at 5 1/3. At 3 1/3 turns, I'm stretching the span 2.5 thousandths. That's where he was when I checked his band, which is way under tension, way under tension. And he's getting mega wavy cuts. There are 1,000 other issues with his mill. It's not just tension, but it's one variable. So what we're doing is we're on his mechanism. We're trying to, right now he is trying to beef up his mechanism enough. We can't even get it to 4,000 stretch because the mechanism is failing and the wheels are bowing in and the whole 9 yards. And this is not a cheap mill. He bought this mill. And it's a big problem. He cannot get his bands tensioned enough to cut straight lumber. So this is just a way to check it without having to buy a gauge. And then, like I said, you can punch the numbers in, or you can go off of, let's just say, the basic standard of 5,000 psi per inch of stretch at 5 inches, which is the way I did it, simply with a digital caliper. So just wanted to let you know where I was. I got to put the mill away because it's going to rain for the next 3 days, and got to get the band off, and I'm going to head back over there because we have to beef up his carriage with some angle iron to try to keep it from bowing in a lot, and we're just going to keep going until we can get him back in a straight lumber. So wanted to put this out there so that people could see it, and so that hopefully you don't have to go out and spend $150 on a gauge to put on your band to tell you how much your band stretches, because you can do it with just a simple pair of dial of digital calipers that you can get at Harbor Freight. As long as they repeat, that's all you need. So hope this helps. If any of you want to punch the numbers in and write in the comments how much PSI that translates over to, that'd be great. I don't really care. I know where where my mill works good and where it doesn't. And we got some great stuff coming up, some great content coming up, and be decking a trailer, actually 2 trailers pretty soon. One just came back from sandblasting and painting, and it's going to get decked with white oak. I got to go up and measure. I think I've been saving a couple of white oak logs for that trailer, and we'll video it as we go along. And I hope this helps somebody, so that you can check your own band and make sure that you're not running light tension or over tension. If you're breaking bands, maybe you're over tension. You know, if you're busting bands and you don't know why, maybe you're over tension, but most likely you're under tension. And in Tommy's case, he can't get it to tension. So we're trying to work that out and fix the tracking. And his wheels are leaning the wrong way, and the tracking's like impossible because the more we tension it, the more the carriage bows in, and it's got set screws to do the trick. It's a pain in the ass. So, you know, if you're thinking about buying, and I don't know who makes them, just telling you that now, I don't know who makes the mill. If you're thinking about buying a handmade mill out of Connecticut, and let's just say maybe they're painted red, there's no friggin' way in the world, after what I've seen the last couple of days on his mill, that I would ever consider purchasing that mill. Just letting you know that. Don't know the name of the company, but I'm just letting you know that. So, hope you guys have a great day. Pirate Solutions out.